Lower. Is my sound up?
Okay, I want to apologize for the last minute change, but Lee and I, my wife and I, were stranded at the airport for over 10 hours due to the global internet problem. It was really a mess. So no fun sleeping at the airport, but we had no choice. All the hotels were booked. So
Awful.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, good. I had a couple of questions that people wrote in, and I thought that I would take care of those first, if that's okay. Let me just get those questions here. 1 minute.
Is this sound on?
The first question was, how does the homeopathic remedy work? And that's a good question, and it's probably very difficult to answer. Homeopathy is a unique approach to disease. In homeopathy, we just don't look at the problem that you're having. Of course, we do look at the problem, your eye problem, but we're treating you. And the belief in homeopathy is that if we make you stronger, then all your other problems will get better. And that's why in homeopathy, we're interested not only in your eye problem, but other things that are going on in your life, other physical problems, mental and emotional. The belief in homeopathy is that when you do have an ailment or a problem, a disease, your body is not in harmony with itself. It's not in the proper vibration. So homeopathy is a vibrational medicine. And what we're trying to do is match the vibration of the homeopathic remedy with the malvibration of your body. And if that is successful, then miracles can happen. You start to feel better, you have more energy, your body's stronger, and then you're able to heal without any problem. So homeopathy acts as a catalyst. It is kind of peculiar how you take the homeopathic remedy. Most of you are taking LMs. You put 6 to 7 drops in 8 ounces of water, and then you mix it, and you take a teaspoon, and that may seem kind of peculiar, but we're taking this as a very dilute substance, has a certain energy and vibration. And then when you take it orally, that vibration then will resonate with your body and hopefully cause an effect. Typically with homeopathy, we like to give the remedy about a month. And if you really don't notice any change, then I'd like to hear from you. We may have to make an adjustment with the homeopathic remedy. If the remedy is a good one, then we expect maybe you have to be calmer, more energy. Generally, we like to see a mental, emotional change first before physical. So I like it when people tell me, I don't know what you gave me, Dr. Kondrot. I've never felt so good about myself. That's what we really want to hear. It's doing something. It's making your body whole, energetically active. The next question is, how does EDTA work? Many of you have come back with a positive lead in your urine. Elevated lead, mercury, and other heavy metals cause a problem with the body. They're toxic. They affect the neurological system, in particular the eye. And ideally, we want to get rid of these heavy metals to give you optimum health. Unfortunately, heavy metals are very tough to get rid of.
May 30th.
In chemistry, we talk about a half-life. The half-life of a substance is how long would it take for that substance, for half of it to get out of your body. So let's say you have 5 grams of lead in your body. How long would it take naturally for that lead to leave? That's the half-life. The half-life of lead in your body is 99 years. So you can see it's a problem. And 99 years is a long time. So you need to do something like chelation. Chelation uses a substance called EDTA. EDTA is like a really big molecule. It's actually 4 vinegar molecules that are connected. And it's like a claw. It grabs onto those heavy metals and makes them water soluble. So the lead is in your bone, your brain, your fat, your eye. And when you take the chelating agent, it binds that heavy metal, the lead or mercury, makes it soluble, and then it's excreted either in your stool or urine. 3 ways of doing chelation: oral, rectal, and intravenous. Typically, if your lead is extremely high, I would recommend that you do the IV. Of course, when you do the IV, you've got to connect with an alternative doctor. It's rather expensive and it's time consuming. Most of the folks in my program are doing a combination of oral and rectal. They're taking oral capsules a couple times a day with meals, and then are doing a rectal suppository. I do have a couple of videos on all the aspects of chelation. Remember, I told you, go to the website, and there's a little link there. Are you new to the website? And that'll take you to all these. Another question here, that someone is having upper respiratory tract issues and it's causing problems. They're on antibiotics and they don't want to be on antibiotics because they're concerned about the suppressive effect of antibiotics. And I agree, antibiotics are a problem in terms of suppression. Antibiotics also interfere with the gut. We've talked about that. A healthy gut will give you healthy eyes. So homeopathy can be very effective for treating upper respiratory tract infections. And if you are actively a patient of mine, then maybe talk to Chris, and I may want to change your homeopathic remedy to address this issue. Also, this person that asked this question said their naturopathic doctor prescribed antibiotics. I'm kind of surprised at that. If it's a true naturopathic doctor, they do not prescribe antibiotics. They're using herbal tinctures and other things like that. Also remember ozone. We talked about ozone. Ozone can be very effective for treating viruses and bacterial infections. I have a couple of YouTube videos on ozone. We talked about that during the COVID epidemic. I was almost daily doing rectal insufflations with ozone and also doing auricular. Ozone will kill those nasty bugs. Then another good question. We got a lot of questions came in, and feel free to email Chris if you do have any questions, and I'll address them at the beginning of the meeting. The other one is the therapies for glaucoma. And how do they work? Those of you that have glaucoma or even macular degeneration or cataracts, how do these therapies help your eye problem? Well, the microcurrent is frequency specific. We're sending in some frequencies to help neutralize the pathology that's going on. But the question was about glaucoma. Well, glaucoma is a disease that's not only pressure in the eye causes damage to the nerve. We want to do therapies to get that optic nerve healthier. When the optic nerve is healthier, then it is going to be able to sustain those high pressures from glaucoma. So one of the ways of improving the health of the optic nerve is to improve the circulation or the oxygenation. So microcurrent does that. Microcurrent is truly remarkable in terms of improving the circulation, oxygenation, and helping to regenerate. You're also doing light therapy. When the autonomic nervous system is not in balance, the body will not heal. Also, when the body is in stress, your blood vessels constrict. So if you have glaucoma, you don't want blood vessels to constrict because you're not getting enough flow to that optic nerve. So the light therapy helps to relax the body, put you in a more balanced state. Then, of course, if you're part of my program, you're taking a homeopathic remedy, which treats your whole body. And so, these three things kind of work in harmony: the microcurrent, the light therapy, and the homeopathy. The other part of that question was they want to know how to program the InspireStar. Well, the InspireStar is a device only for professionals. So if you do have a professional license by your state, either a chiropractor, you're a medical doctor, some type of practitioner, you could be programmed, or not programmed, trained to do the programming of the InspireStar. But it's rather complicated. And we used to help our patients program, but we just disbanded that whole program because it was just too complicated. Now, we do have a way of changing your protocols on your microcurrent machine. Ning Wu, the brilliant engineer who developed this machine, now has a way where we can do it remotely. So we log on to your computer, you plug your microcurrent machine into the computer, and we can change protocols. So let's say you develop arthritis or a digestion problem or a knee problem, and you don't have those protocols on your machine. Contact the office. We can log on to your computer and change those protocols. It's really amazing. It's really slick. The technology is phenomenal. The only drawback is you do need a Windows computer, and you do have to invest in software. And the software is purchased through the InspireStar. I'm not quite sure the cost of the software. I think it's a couple $100, but Chris could help you get more information on that.
I just can't. Yeah, we could get.
Then the other question is, are you familiar with the Healy? And how does it compare to the InspireStar? Well, there are many microcurrent devices on the market. Most of them are frequency generators. By a frequency generator, when Radio Shack was in existence, you could buy a frequency generator from Radio Shack for a couple $100. All that does, it sends the electrical current in different frequencies. And of course, the microcurrent does that, but the microcurrent is a 2-channel machine. Also, we're able to regulate the current and the waveform. And these two parameters are probably the most important. It's just not the frequency that does the healing. It's the proper current. And over the years, I have found, and other doctors that do microcurrent have found, that it's the very low current that helps with the healing, not a high current. So you can buy a TENS machine that generates frequencies for $70 on eBay. But it has a very, very high current. Typically, the TENS machine may be between 2,000 and 3,000 microamps. We try to strive to have our machine deliver less than 500 microamps. Studies have shown that if you get above 500 microamps, it actually retards or inhibits cellular activity and regeneration. And in fact, most of you that have an eye program, we're running it between 20 and 40 microamps. And a microamp is a millionth of an amp, so it's a very, very low energy. And I talked to Ning because I wanted to experiment with even getting lower. The InspireStar machine could go down to 20 microamps. And I asked Ning, can we develop the machine to get down to 10 microamps? And Ning said it's possible, but it would probably triple the price. And that's one of the reasons why the InspireStar machine maybe costs more than a TENS machine, because the lower the current, the more sophisticated the circuitry and chips have to be. So your machine typically delivers between 20 and 40 for your eye. And for other physical problems, we're looking at maybe between 80 and 100 microamps. So the Healy is a frequency generator, and it does deliver frequencies, but I don't really know that much about it in terms of actually causing, prominent or physical changes in the body and affecting pathology or disease. The other thing that we've done with the microcurrent is we have identified frequencies that can affect different biochemical processes in the body. We've identified frequencies that stimulate stem cells. We've identified frequencies that affect different protein pathways. And all this research is being done by a company called iCell, which I'm part of. So the technology is pretty remarkable. So I see some hands come up. We got some eager people here. Jean, how are you?
Oh, pretty good.
You have to unmute, Jean.
I was on.
Oh.
I think everybody.
I can't hear you.
Oh dear.
I can hear her.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can hear her.
Not able to hear you, Jean.
Everybody else can hear me, but you.
Let me see. Maybe your microphone isn't on.
No, it is. We can hear her.
Let me go to Sandra. Sandra, all right, let's see if I can hear you.
All right. Can you hear me?
I think it's it.
Can you
Now I can hear you.
you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to
Must
stay with
have
me
been-
or do you want to go back to Jean?
Yeah, Jean, let's see if
Can you hear me now?
yep, I can hear you now. There must have been a little, oh, it's part of the global internet problem.
Oh, probably. Blame it on that. Okay.
Blame it on that.
Okay. What my problem is, we had a meeting on the June the 27th, and I was to try my new homeopathic for a month, but I've never received it. So I guess we'll have to put that off. But
Well,
also
number one is, where do you live, Jean?
in Canada.
Okay, well, there's a problem shipping homeopathic remedies to Canada. It's usually held up at the border.
Okay.
So I would double check to make sure that Chris put the order in. We have problems shipping it to Canada. Oh,
Yeah, I haven't got any of the things that we talked about. Like I haven't got the new glasses, and because I switched from wet to dry macular degeneration, I need new glasses, and I don't know whether I should be doing the light therapy with the old glasses or not, since I've switched.
No, I would not use the old glasses. I'd wait for the new ones.
Okay, that's what I'm doing. I thought maybe I shouldn't, so I didn't. I haven't been using
The
it.
problem is when we ship to Canada, it's always an issue. It's held up at customs.
Sometimes it comes like really, really quickly, and sometimes it doesn't. So I think there's a problem internationally anyway. There's a problem even taking your dog across the border anymore. So yeah. Also, okay, so it has all my problems really have to do with stuff that I didn't get. So I'm just kind of sitting in limbo.
Well, talk to Chris on Wednesday and make sure that the orders were put in. We could maybe put some tracking numbers in.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's where I'm at then, because I'm just kind of sitting waiting. Is there anything I should be doing in the meantime?
Well, did we reprogram your machine?
No, we didn't, because we were going to wait the month to see how I was doing before.
Well, I think the next step would be I can reprogram your machine, even though you're in Canada. We just hook up online, and I can put new frequencies in for you. Okay.
Okay. So what do I arrange that with?
Chris.
With
Yeah.
Chris. Okay. All right.
Do you have a Windows? Do you have a Windows computer?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, then you're all set.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So let's go to Sandra now.
Yeah, I had a question about the glasses. They didn't come in my kit the first time. I think Chris had forgotten them, so she did send them again. And since then, I have talked to a friend in Pittsburgh who works with a syntonic doctor, and she said they test to see which color glasses you need. So I was curious about that, like how you discern which glasses I
Well,
have.
some people do muscle testing. I don't
Right.
really believe in muscle testing. I look at the pathology that you have. Is it
Okay.
wet, macular, dry? Is it cataract? And over the years, I've gained experience in certain colors are better for certain diseases. Just like Jean had dry, she had a certain color, and then it went to wet. There are some eye doctors that do muscle testing and use fancy equipment. I had looked into that, and to me, it didn't give any better results. I think practical experience in knowing how certain colors affect patients are the best way to go.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I have them, I have both of them here. I haven't used them. The other thing that this woman had told me who works in this Syntonic clinic is you can just wear them outside.
No, I do not recommend that. Absolutely not. I don't know who this woman is, but she sounds like she's a nutcase.
Ah, okay.
Because
So-
number one, when you're dealing with the eye, you wear them outside, you're going to get too much energy into your eye. And believe
Okay.
you me, I have been treating patients, and maybe 20 years ago, I had people wear them outside. We did not get good results. You need 5 to 10 minutes, usually 10 minutes, low illumination.
And that's with the light bulb that I received.
Yeah, it should be a low wattage bulb. I'd like to know who this person is because some people just aren't adequately trained.
Yeah, I'm surprised because she works for a doctor in Pittsburgh who does syntonic light therapy.
Is she a doctor or is she a technician?
He's a technician.
Yeah, well, you don't get advice from a technician. That's like asking the cleaning lady what vitamins you should take.
Right. No, I hear you. That's why I'm checking it out with you. I wanted to verify if that was true.
Yeah, but I'm the member of the College of Syntonic Optometry, which you had to pass vigorous exams to become a member, and I attend their national meetings every year.
Okay. So you just look at this bulb for 10 minutes with the two different glasses on.
Well, some people use 2 glasses, some people only use 1. So
Okay,
I don't want you to be confusing other people who only have 1. Some people have 3 pair. Some people alternate colors one day to the next. So everybody has a different protocol.
Okay, I'll just go back to my instructions and read it. I do have 2 pair.
I think
So
that I don't know whether that you do them sequential. You would do one color first, then follow with the second. Some people alternate colors. They use one day and one the next day.
Okay. Does it matter
What do you mean? Does it matter?
whether if you do with one color first or the other?
It does. It definitely matters. You're given instructions on
Okay.
what color to use first. Absolutely, it matters. You know, you
Okay.
need to use. We recommend the first one. You do that first. You don't do that second.
Okay.
It's important that we try to make the instructions as clear as possible, and you should get information on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll relook at that. I was just a little bit confused. And then the other question I had was about the ozone machine because my eyes are really dry. I did reach out to Chris and she sent me a link, but I don't know, Jerry Caswell, if you realize we're hearing your background conversations, might want to mute yourself. But I reached out to Chris and she sent me a link, but it's like for machines that are thousands of dollars. And they weren't what I saw in your video. I couldn't find that machine on Amazon. So,
Okay, because there's 2 types of machines. One is the machine for rectal insufflation and for auricular, and that's the more expensive machine. You also need a tank of oxygen. If you're making ozone drops, all you need is a simple ozone machine. And I believe the best place to go, and I'm not sure, is I think A to Z ozone. Let me I'm going to go to Google right now. I think it's called A to Z ozone.
Yeah, I had a
And
hard time.
also Amazon has, let's see, I think it's called A to Z ozone. Let me just check. Yeah, and they have, yeah, go A to Z ozone.
There a specific machine to get?
Products, General Ozone, Aqua Series, yeah, $79.
Okay.
Oh, that's much
Uh,
better.
Aqua series?
Yeah, let me, I'll put this in the link here. Can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Let me go to chat. Okay, here's the link. They have many, many different ozone generators at $79, and that's all you need.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Oh, and speaking of dry eyes, I've been doing a lot of research and learning about some other alternative therapies for dry eyes. I recommend the ozone, but we should probably have another discussion on other suggestions for dry eyes.
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Okay. Jerry, you got a question?
I'm Janet. I have a couple. I'm on Jerry's computer. Okay, when I first got the first group of things, it took a long time for me to get my microcurrent, but I got a pair of glasses. I have no idea. They are mu upsilon. I don't know if that's has anything to do with the color or what. At the time that I first talked to you, I had dry, then one eye went to wet. So, and my machine says it's for wet. So I'm about to have my third appointment with the retina specialist tomorrow. And I had asked through Chris if they want, of course, they want to give me another shot. My eyes have not, after the initial shot, they have not improved. They're probably worse. They call it loading. And the doctor, this was in a letter I wrote Chris, and she said she'd passed it along. My question is it true that once you have wet, that if you don't continue their shots, it will come back wet? I'm very confused about all this.
Okay, well, let me try to explain that. There's two types of macular, dry and wet.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes dry will progress to the wet. Sometimes the wet will progress to scarring, which is a form of dry. It no longer leaks. So there are different therapies, but usually wet is the more serious. So if you have dry in one eye and wet in the other, your program is for wet. It's not that the wet is going to make the dry wet. We have frequencies that help revitalize the macula. So even though you're doing wet with dry, it's going to help it. Now, in terms of, I'm not a big fan of injections.
Nor I.
Not a big fan. Most of the studies have shown that injections may help the first couple of months, but long term, it causes more problems. And of course, the doctors, it's a moneymaker for them. They love to give injections every month. That's putting good money in their pocket. It's simple, it's quick. All the long-term studies, one of the long-term studies that I looked at was a 5-year study. Looked at people who faithfully got injections over 5 years. They were good little patients. They listened to their doctor. They got the injection. Not one of them had an improvement of vision at the end of 5 years. They were all worse. But the doctors were able to get new cars and they got a beach house and, you know. Now, I'm not totally against injections. What I advise patients the following: embrace the alternative treatments. If your eyes would be stable, no change in vision, you're not getting worse, or they would improve, certainly you don't need injections. But let's say you're doing the microcurrent faithfully, you're taking your homeopathic remedy, you're changing your diet, and you're still losing vision. I'd be the first one to say, well, get the injection too. We got to do everything. And probably about 10 to 15% of my patients will need those injections.
They suggested that this third one would be the last one in the loading process, and then I would infrequently get these injections.
Well, you just told me that the injection made your eye worse. Why would you want to
No. The first one helped a good deal. Since then, I've been using the microcurrent faithfully. I got it about a week later after the first injection. And I, you know.
Now, the other important thing is, I think I shared this with the group, macular degeneration did not exist before 1920.
Mm-hmm.
It should be called diet-related macular degeneration. You got to avoid the seed oils. If it has a label, you should not eat it. And you got heavy metals, you got to get rid of the heavy metals. You got to keep yourself hydrated. Those are the main things.
Okay, well, let me go to the chelation thing. I'm using the suppositories, but my EDTA says use between meals. Does that really matter? You just said with meals. The one with garlic says
I don't think it really matters.
Okay. All right.
I think it's more comfortable when people take it with their meals.
Yeah.
You know, taking medication on an empty stomach is always a problem.
And the last thing is these glasses, I didn't know there were a lot of different colors. So I don't know if I'm doing that. I'm using the ones I got initially.
And what glasses are they?
Well, I don't know about the color.
Well, there's a label on it.
Yeah, it says mu
Epsilon.
epsilon or something
Well,
like
mu
that.
epsilon is usually the one we start when you have wet macular.
That's what you have.
Okay, well,
That's what you have, and that's what you should use.
okay. Now the doctor says that they're no longer wet. I mean, this eye is no longer wet.
Well, why does he want to give you another injection if it's no
Well,
longer
I don't
wet?
know. I'm going to see him tomorrow, but I'm sure that's what they'll want to do.
But remember, the
Okay.
glasses treat the underlying cause. They treat the wet and they treat the underlying cause. So even though the wet may disappear, you still may want to use those glasses.
Okay. I mean, I have no problem. I didn't even know there were a lot of different colors or types of glasses.
Could I summarize, interject myself here for a minute? I'm Jerry, but it seems what Janet is asking is, you know, she's got this appointment tomorrow. The doctor wants to give her a shot. What I just heard you say is that following the regimen of organic foods and that, you know, taking the suppositories and all really would be an alternative, and that that the shot may not be necessary if it's not wet, it's not currently bleeding. And
Yeah.
And apparently last time she went, it wasn't. Now she justified that by saying, well, it's because we gave a shot, you know. But there may not be, it seems to me that if it's not still bleeding, she doesn't need another shot. She should continue your alternative approach.
Well, that would be my recommendation. If the bleeding comes back, then you have to make a decision. Do you want to continue the alternatives to help slow it? But if you're using the alternative treatments and you do develop the bleeding, then in those cases, you may want to get the injection.
So maybe what she should do tomorrow is go and have the doctor, before she says anything else, is it still bleeding? If she says no, then Janet should say.
Now,
"Thank you
usually
for
what they
finding
do
out."
is they do a test called an OCT, ocular coherence tomography. And, a lot of times they look for areas of bleeding. It could be way out north of the eye. Oh, it's bleeding out there. And to me, the only time you really need an injection if it's in the central part affecting your vision.
So that's the question Janet needs to ask. Where is the bleeding if there
Well,
is?
you could also send me a copy of the OCT.
It's okay.
Well,
But at
when
the moment,
the second time I went, the needles were already out.
Oh, yeah, they're anxious to do it. It's
I
1, 2,
know,
3.
I know.
okay, so I think what she should do is to go and have an assumption she's not going to get the shot unless this doctor has some overriding information, like, yes, it's bleeding in the central.
Well, how's your vision?
Not good at all.
Well, if it's not good at all, if it's not good at all,
Well,
you may
it's
need the
gotten
injection.
worse. It's not getting any better. If anything, it's getting worse.
Well, you told me that the shot improved your
The
vision.
first one did,
Uh-huh.
right? But I could hardly see. This is when my good eye first went wet. That's when my eyesight was at its worst. So the shot did help with the first shot. The
Well, then
second
you may want to get the second shot and the third. He was talking about 3.
I got the second shot. I got the second. Now this is the third trip to the retina specialist.
Well, so you committed to the shots. And I think you made that commitment, so you got to get 3.
Well,
Should she ask about the bleeding? If there's no bleeding, to pass on it?
Well, I don't want to get into his professional judgment. You've committed. He told you you need 3. You committed to 2. You should probably get the 3. It may come back to haunt you. He's going to say, well, the reason why you went blind is you didn't get that 3rd shot.
okay.
So you have a complicated case, and I don't want to get in the middle of this.
Okay.
Typically, I would just recommend you do alternative without shots and see what happens. But now you commit it, much like glaucoma patients, when you start taking the eye drops, I never want you to stop the drops. You got to use the alternative until we see how it affects your eye, and then maybe you could taper it. That's a mistake too.
I actually didn't commit. That is their commitment. They said,
Their modus
yeah,
operandi.
their modus operandi is take 3 shots called loading, and then you can take them every 6 months or
Janet
something.
didn't hear that term loading until the second shot.
Yeah.
So she
Okay.
didn't.
I never heard that term loading.
I know. I wrote Chris about it and asked her to ask you about it. But anyway, I'll just have to wing it tomorrow. I've taken up enough time.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, Renee, how are you?
I'm doing well. Everything's stable, and I just have one quick question. On my remedy, I just finished LM1 for Cali Carb, and I'm getting the new one, which Chris told me would be LM2. And she said every time you run out of a remedy, it goes up 1 number. I'm just curious as to how you know that the body is ready for a new number and shouldn't stay on the old one longer.
No, it's when you finish the bottle, you need the next level.
So you
Every
just know
time-
that from experience that you're ready for it?
No, it's just automatic. We always progress from 1 to 2. It's not your body. It's not a new remedy. It's the same remedy, but it's a little stronger.
Okay,
If you stay on LM1, it's not going to help you.
okay. I was just curious. And then this is not to do with the eyes. I'm just new to Zoom and I want to know how these people get these little hand icons up there. What do I,
There's a
what-
little hamburger down below. I think it's called More.
oh, okay.
And you hit react. I can put here. I'm putting little hearts by me.
Yep. So
There's
what,
all kind of crazy stuff you can do.
so it's under more, the hand?
I think, let me go to Elaine. Elaine, maybe you could explain how to put the hand up.
How to what? What the, I don't
How
know.
did
I
you
didn't
put
do
your
that.
hand up?
I didn't do that, so I don't know.
No, you have a hand up on
On
your,
I had my hand up like this.
no, but you have it on your screen. It's lower hand.
I
Yeah,
realized that, but I didn't put it there.
you had to do something.
Well, something
Let me
happened.
see. I
I'm
think
not
you
a
go
good-
to More. And then you go to, let's see,
Maybe,
host tools, I think.
You go to reactions. And then reactions, and then there are all kinds of pictures.
Ah,
And you,
I see. Yeah, reactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just above reaction.
Oh, yeah. Raise
Yeah.
hand. You go to
I
reactions. raise
see it
hand.
now. So in the future, I'll be on board.
Yeah, here I'm putting on mine, I'm putting a clap. See, a
Yep.
clap sign.
Thanks for the lesson, guys.
Okay, so you can do that. If you like my answer, then you can put a thumbs up. See, I got thumbs up.
Okay.
All right, so anyway, Elaine,
Um,
okay, there you are.
The remedy, the new remedy I received yesterday evening was very warm. Is it still safe to use it?
Well, there's a little indicator tape that comes with the remedy. It's in the box. Don't tell me you threw the
Okay.
box away.
Oh,
The
no,
company
it's here
sends an
somewhere. I just
indicator.
got it last.
Okay, look inside the box. There's an indicator tape and they state if it changes color, the remedy could be damaged.
Okay. And the other question I have, if when I stare at something, one eye seems to float away, is that connected to wet macular or is that something that,
No, that's just something to do with your muscle coordination.
so is there exercises to do for that?
I'd have to know how the eyes are deviating. I think you just have to concentrate and focus.
Okay, just work on the direction for exercise.
Yeah, because if I daydream, my eyes will turn out a little bit.
Okay. In the oh, the darkening of vision, is that from wet macular or cataracts?
That can be from either. It could be from dry, wet, glaucoma, the darkening of the vision. That's why I need to look at your eye records to really determine what's causing it.
All right, thank you.
Or it could be due to a circulatory problem. But double check in the box that the remedy came, okay?
I will do that first thing.
Yeah,
Thank
and if the indicator tape has triggered because of the heat, then let Chris know we may want to send you another remedy.
That's all I
Okay.
have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jennifer, hi.
hello.
Jennifer got her hand up. She knows what she's doing.
Right, right. I began IV chelation therapy recently, and I'm exquisite. And the recommendation by one naturopath, my primary one, is that with the chelation, you also do mineral replacement at the same time. However, I haven't done that because I'm exquisitely sensitive, and so we're separating. I'm doing 1 week, I'm doing chelation, the next week mineral replacement. In the meantime, for various reasons, I saw another naturopath in the office, and his feeling is it's really better to separate them anyway. And I'm just wondering if you have an opinion on that.
Well, I agree that when you're getting IV chelation, it's kind of aggressive and you do have to worry about it drawing out the good minerals.
Right, that, okay.
But there's a very high attraction. The chelation has a high attraction to the heavy metals. The mercury, lead, they're huge molecules, gigantic molecules. The zinc, chromium, and magnesium, they're tiny little guys. So there's like a 1,000-fold more affinity towards those bad guys than the little guys. So it's not like the chelation is taking 50-50 and taking everything out. It has the affinity for the big guys. So some doctors say you don't really need mineral supplements. It depends on the practitioner. It depends on the dose of chelation. I would probably agree that it's much better to have the IV separate,
Okay,
a separate day.
got it.
That would probably be a better approach.
All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you. We should all be practicing with our little emojis. Here, I have rocket ships going up. We should have fun at these meetings, okay. Okay, Julie has her hand up. Good.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Doc. The question that I had was about testing for zinc, and I'm pretty sure you just answered it with the chelation explanation. So here's what I'm thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong. I need, when I have my blood work done, to check for zinc, because doing the chelation, we might be drawing out all the zinc. Is that correct?
Unlikely you're drawing out all the zinc. The zinc's a small guy. Unlikely.
Okay, but it's more of a
I don't want you all to think that, you know, every time you get chelation, you're sucking out all the zinc and chromium and all the good stuff. You're not.
Okay, and I'm not doing the IV chelation, so my chelation is more gentle than maybe Jennifer's is. Okay.
If you're doing the
All right.
rectal and the oral, I think it's unlikely it's taking out all the zinc. Oh, here's something else interesting. Some doctors believe, and I tend to agree, that if you do have heavy metals, it would be hard to maintain adequate levels of zinc. Because remember, we were talking about the lead and mercury are big bullies. They don't make room for the little guys. They can't get in. So sometimes when you start removing the heavy metals, it makes room for the little guys to come in. The zinc, the chromium, the magnesium. So it's a combination.
I see. All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I'm putting a little heart up there because I like your question. We have to have fun at these meetings. Right? I think a good laugh is probably the best thing that you can do. Any other questions? Good. Sandra gave a thumbs up. I like it.
I'm Janet.
Janet, okay. You have to use an emoji.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't really see that well.
Well, get Jerry to come in.
Well, yeah, he's out of the room. Okay, I did request, told Chris in a letter that I need more homeopathic. I'm almost out of the first bottle. So if I requested it and she read the letter last Monday, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia, is there a chance I'm going to get it anytime soon, do you think?
Well, the best thing to do is make sure you join the Wednesday meeting, but if you email, she's going to get it.
Okay, I have. I have.
And that would be a good advice to all of you. If you're doing the homeopathic remedy and you're taking LM1 and you're getting low, we automatically want you to go to LM2. Okay. Okay, Jennifer, you had your hand up.
Yes. What is the highest wattage that you consider optimal for the light therapy, wattage of the light bulb?
I would say a 25-watt light bulb.
Okay. I've been using something higher because I'm doing this with a neuro-optometrist, and I've done it in the past with a different neuro-optometrist. They don't seem very concerned about the wattage, but I'll switch.
Well, you can use a higher wattage, just set a greater distance.
Oh, okay.
And the way I determined it, there's a machine, it's a couple $1,000 machine called a syntonizer.
Mhm.
It's what all the professional light therapies use. It's a device they look in.
Right.
So I got a light meter and I measured the lux, or the intensity. And then
Mhm.
I duplicated that. I got different wattage light bulbs, and it was a 10-watt light bulb at 5 feet. Seemed to get that exact same lux.
Mhm.
So you can use a 50-watt. You just have to be a greater distance. But the key is you want a low intensity of the light. That's why I'm against going outside in the sunlight. It's just too much,
Right. Okay.
just too much.
Do you have a estimate of the distance if you should be from the light bulb if it's a higher wattage?
Oh boy, I'm sure you can go online and there's formulas, intensity versus distance. I think
Oh.
it's 1/f² or something like that.
All right.
I have to get out my calculus books.
Okay. Thank you.
You just gave me a homework assignment. Okay, Terry, hi. You got your
Hi,
hand up.
Dr. Kondrot.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I came on a little late, so I may have missed you explaining the homeopathic remedy. I just wanted to understand. You said put 6 drops into 8 ounces of water and then throw it away after you take one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a video. If you go to the website Healing the Eye, there's a little box called "Are you new to this website?" Click that. I have a video on how to make the homeopathic remedies. And I think Chris should send that to you. It's about a 10-15 minute video.
Well, I did watch the video. I just wanted to understand why you throw it away, why, like how that works.
Okay, well, you throw it away because the next time you make it, it has a little bit more energy.
Okay, so the energy.
Yeah, because when you succuss the bottle, you're increasing the energy. So the next time you put 6 to 7 drops in, it has a little higher energy.
So every time it increases.
Yeah, because we want to gently push your body towards health.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Every time you take it, that's why when you go to the LM2, it has a higher energy. Who's that guy in the background there? Is that your?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a prowler. I thought it was a prowler.
That's the patient,
I'm
Ralph.
I'm the patient.
You're the patient. Okay.
I am. It's a pleasure to meet you. And
Nice to
Terry
meet
follows
you.
you all the time, so it's wonderful. Thank you for what you're doing for us.
Well, it's my pleasure, and my goal is to help all of you, get better vision. I think it's possible.
Well, we're right at it, and
Mm.
by the protocol. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for explaining them. We just wanted to understand them.
Okay, Julia's back. Hi, Julia.
Hi, I just wanted to add something, if this is okay, Doc, in response to Terry's question. It's my understanding, and I was taught that with the homeopathic dosing, you also want to make sure that you put your spoon and the cup that you used to mix it up in the dishwasher or wash it. Don't save it and reuse it, because our treatments are energetic. There could be residual energy in the cup and on the spoon, and Doc wants an exact measurement each time. Is that correct, Dr. Kondrot?
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think theoretically it makes sense, but practically, I have some patients, I just have your remedy cup and remedy spoon, and you just use it every day.
Okay, yeah, I've
In
been
fact- in
doing it
fact-
the other
In
way,
fact,
so I
that's
wanted
what
to
I
make
do.
sure.
That's what I do.
Okay.
When I take my remedy, I have my remedy glass and remedy spoon, and I just use the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good point. And I do like comments too. If anybody has an opinion or disagree, you know, we're all in this together. And I learn more from my patients than I do going to medical meetings. Because you guys are out there, you're doing different things. And we need to, you know, get the feedback. Hi, Phyllis. And this will be the last question because we're coming to the close of the hour. Hi, Phyllis.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
I thought that I was supposed to be doing 4 ounces of water, the homeopathic. So that's what
Oh.
I've been doing.
Oh, wait, a half a cup. How much is in a
Yeah.
half a cup?
4
Four
ounces.
Yeah, well, then we want a half a cup. That was an error.
Okay. So I was doing it correctly.
Yeah, I think the instructions, aren't the instructions a half a cup?
I thought so. But
Yeah.
you've been saying 8 ounces, so then I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, where did that eight ounces come from? Who's trying to confuse us all?
It's just a test.
Okay, but no, actually, sometimes I do have patients put it in a full cup.
Okay.
Because if you're very sensitive, you may want to use less, but a half a cup is kind of the standard.
Okay. Thank you.
Good point. I'm glad somebody was paying attention. Elaine, did you have a comment?
Just a quick question, if you, could you cut it in half, like 2 ounces and half the dose, so that, would that be the same?
Now you're thinking like an engineer. I had an engineer say, well, why put 6 drops in? Why not put 1 drop in 1/6 of a half a cup and it'll last longer? Well, the reason we don't do that is we want you to go through that 1 ounce bottle in a certain period of time. If you only put like 1 drop in, that 1 ounce bottle maybe could last a couple of years. We want you to go through that bottle in a certain time period. So all this had been worked out by Samuel Hahnemann. So we want 6 to 7 drops, but that's a good point. Now you're thinking like an engineer.
I always do things like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we're coming to the close of the hour. I want to thank everybody for joining. And I don't know what your religious practices are, but my wife and I, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be in Lourdes. It's a holy shrine in France. We're going to be there, especially those of you might be Catholic. We're going to be at Lourdes, and I'm going to be praying for all of you. It's an amazing spiritual religious site, Lourdes.
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
listen, have a
Thank you
good
for-
weekend.
Thank you
Good
for
work.
all you do for us.
Oh, my pleasure. I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more. But anyway,
God
blessings
bless.
to everybody.
God bless
We
you.
appreciate you, Doc.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good week.